Fedor, and today I want to present to you my project about 90s music trends. So here you can see my content. And the goal of my project is to tell you about the most interesting figures of 90s music and cover the essential music releases of that decade. The relevance of the project. 90s decade played a major role in the development of music that is still popular. Many of the musicians of that time are still loved and recognizable by people. What's unique about 90s music? One of the unique aspects of 90s music was its blending of different genres and music elements from them. And also the rise of the independent music. Because with the advent of new technologies and internet, it became easier for independent musicians to record and promote their music. The use of music videos played a huge role in that decade. Because in 90s professional music videos became popular. And also the impact of live music, because musicians started to play their music live, and it helped them to promote it. Nirvana is a really known band nowadays, and one of the biggest bands of that decade. It was formed in Washington in 1987. And the singer of the band was Kurt Cobain. And it consisted of bassist Chris Novoselic and drummer Dave Grohl. They released their debut album Bleach in 1989, which wasn't very popular, but their second album Nevermind blown up and gave them success. So the song from that album called Smells Like Teen Spirit became an anthem of the grunge movement of that decade. And they also have their final and third album called In Utero. But in 1994 Kurt Cobain died, and it ended this band. Despite their short career, Nirvana is still considered one of the most successful bands of all time. And another important thing that happened in 90s is era of hip-hop called Golden Age. The Golden Age hip-hop refers to a period in the late 80s and 90s when hip-hop music was popularized and was given a mainstream acceptance. This period is characterized by creativity and a high level of experimentation in that genre, and many artists pushed the boundaries of what was possible with hip-hop music and lyrical content in that music. During that era there was many popular rappers such as KRS-One, Rakim, Public Enemy, and group A Tribe called Quest. Mainly that artists were from New York, but hip-hop was not only popular and being made in New York. It was made in Detroit and any other big American cities. So some essential releases of that era was The Chronic by Dr. Dre, and People's Instinctive Travels and the Paths of Rhythm by A Tribe Called Quest, which was released in 1990. The next genre is contemporary R&B. Contemporary R&B is a newer version of the genre R&B, which combines in it the elements of pop, soul, hip-hop, and electronic music. The main difference between R&B and contemporary R&B that contemporary R&B became more radio-friendly, and sound of it was more polished. And also in that era were popular boys bands and girls groups. And producers such as Babyface, Timbaland, and Missy Elliott. And one of the most interesting genres of that decade is electronic music. So electronic music can be described by several subgenres such as techno, house, and drum and bass. Why electronic music became to be popular in the 90s? That's because of the rise of technology and reduction in the cost of equipment. So it became more possible for musicians to make an electronic music. One of the most influential electronic artists of the 90s include the Chemical Brothers, The Prodigy, Underworld, Daft Punk, Moby, and Lapsville. And one of the most interesting electronic producer is Richard D. James, best known as Aphex Twin. Here you can see a cover of his most famous album called Selected Ambient Works 8592 Volume 1. So he's from United Kingdom, and he makes many of the genres, such as IDM, which stands for Intelligent Dance Music, Ambient, and House. So he's still making music, and he's still popular and playing his music live. So also he influenced many other producers to make music, such as Birds of Canada and Square Pusher. And last but not least is shoegaze. Shoegaze is really interesting genre. It's a style of alternative rock and that focuses on creating ethereal, noisy washes of sound with bands utilizing various effects, pedals such as distortion, reverb, and delay. Shoegaze is originated in the UK in the late 90s and early 90s. You may be curious why is it called shoegaze? Because of the many pedals that musicians needed to press to play that music. They always looked at their shoes. Shoegaze was never mainstream in the whole world. It was only popular in the UK and some of the parts of Europe. The most popular shoegaze album is Loveless by My Bloody Valentine, which is considered a classic of that genre. And in conclusion, I would like to say that the period of 90s is one of the brightest and significant decade in the history of modern music, which gave us a lot of new names in the industry of music. Here you can see my sources.